welcome to another edition of On the Trail in Search of Living Legends. I Camp Nick. This is episode 14.
Oh, wow. 14 already. Woo!
14. We're flying this year, and I tell you what, everyone out there listening, we have had some awesome guests, and we have a real treat for you tonight after I introduce my partner, my brother, and my co-host, Mr. Nick Valenti.
How you doing, Jay? I'm doing fantastic today myself.
Same here, brother. Same here.
I'm all excited. This is part 3 with Adam Davis and Jenn Davis, his wife. And Jenn's going to give us some of her encounters and sightings, along with Adam just finishing up from part 2 over there. And with that to do, Adam, let's pick up from where we left off last time. I believe you were in the house and Dogman was like right up against it, tapping on the window, had his ear against the house, trying to see if anybody was home.
Yeah, that was actually what happened to Jenn the other day, or last weekend. Well, the other day, same idea. But and she can tell you more about that actually, as far as what she actually experienced. I was just relaying what she had told me.
Okay.
But,
all right. Well, where were you at? What state are you in, and where were you?
I'm Ohio. One of the managers out here, alongside with Adam, my husband. We have been kind of having to transition back and forth. I was at home with our big dog, and she started shaking really bad and like hunkering down, and she started whimpering, and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she wouldn't leave my side. Well, I heard this growl outside the house, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here by myself. This is not good. Well, because of that, it put me like, I don't know, in a state of just, I couldn't stay awake. It just scared me. I had the dog up against me. She wouldn't leave me. And I called Adam as soon as you guys' show was over, and we ended up talking about it, and we both feel that there was a dog man outside the house, on the corner of the house. But I didn't get to go out, I didn't get to go see Thursday Prince the next day because it snowed, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it snowed. But this wasn't my first encounter.
But Jenn, not giving the street where you guys are, in Ohio. Where in Ohio are you now? First of all, this was at your home, your residence.
Yeah, we live in Brookville, Ohio.
Okay, that's what, central, north, south, east, west, where?
It's out close to the edge of the state. It's about 20 minutes from Richmond, Indiana. So okay. It's extreme western Ohio, but not quite on the Ohio Indiana border. We got another county between us and Indiana.
Okay. So what else did you have there, Jenn?
A few years ago, when I first met Adam, we were on our way back home to the house. We had went in town for a little bit, and we were coming back, and I happened to just be sitting kind of like halfway sideways in the vehicle. And I'm like, is that one of those things? And he's like looking, and he looked out the corner of his eyes, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to say the word.
It's a family friendly show.
About what time of the day was this?
What about?
It was about I want to say it was about an hour before dusk.
All right.
So it was still broad daylight.
And you were in your vehicle?
Yeah, and it was a clear day. There was no clouds to speak of, to reduce visibility or anything. And we were westbound on 40 when she's, like I said, she was sitting sideways in the seat looking across me through the driver's side window, and I just saw her jaw drop, and just like, is that one of those things? Yeah. And I looked out of the corner of my eye and I could see it. Like I said, my estimation was about 300 yards out in the field, between that road and is it Pleasant Plain there that the next road is over? Yeah, so there's two roads that run parallel there. That's about half a mile or so between them, and they was, like I said, it was about 300 yards out in the middle of the field running, and it was keeping up with us. We were doing 55.
Oh,
What kind of a field was this?
It was corn stubble that was in that field, so it was not good. It would not be easy to transit, if you were trying to run through it as a human, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you've ever tried to walk in a cornfield that's been mown down and everything. You're tripping on everything,
So this was like at the end of the summertime then?
It was springtime because it was before the next planting and everything. So it was like probably mid-March, if I remember correctly.
All right, so things were cut down at mid-March in Ohio. It was probably what, in the 40s?
About 40s or 50s that day. It was
40s or 50s. It was getting towards dark. The cut down cornfield, you're figuring the stalks are what, maybe 2.5, 3 feet?
Probably 3 feet, yeah.
That were left after they cut things down. So yeah, that's quite difficult. And it's doing about 50 miles an hour on 2 legs pacing your car.
That's incredible.
Exactly.
That's fast. I don't think people listening probably can't grasp how fast that actually is when you're in a vehicle and you've got something like a Sasquatch or a Dogman running next to you. That's just incredible.
What do you think about a height on this? Could you estimate anything?
I would say it was probably at least 8 feet tall because I'm like, I had never seen it up until that point. I had never seen anything like this. Until I got with Adam, and I just thought it was a joke. I thought he was joking.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And I couldn't think fast enough to say anything. I was trying to get the words out, and I got him out, but it was like, is that one of those things? And he's like, oh, SHIT. And I'm like, yeah. That was my first encounter.
What color is this thing, Jen?
It was black. This one was a black one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't just distance or lighting. It was with the sun hitting it in the front. You could see that it was solid black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. So that was your first experience.
Yeah.
What'd you do? You kick up the horsepower and get out of there, or?
Well, we weren't far from the house.
So
you decided to, hey, Mom, it's following me. Can I keep it and take it home? You let it back to your house.
Yeah. Well, we lost sight of it as we crossed one of the next roads as it went behind the houses between us and it. So I don't know if it turned and went into the woods right there that it was close to, or what, but there's an abandoned barn that's over there that sits in its own little patch of woods that's kind of grown up around it, underbrush, whatever you want to call it, and it's so it could have potentially went in there or something, I don't know, but we didn't see it after that. I kept checking out to see if it had crossed the road and kept going or whatever.
Why did then we have the big eternal question, why did the Dogman cross the road? To follow Adam and Jen to their house. Did you ever figure that? And may have been following you for a little bit longer?
It's entirely possible. I mean, I've left my scent around, the area for a long time, with everything. So it's possible that it could have been one that, that may have already known my scent and has figured out where to take the pack to bug me.
Yeah.
We seem to be pretty consistently getting bugged out there at the house.
Yeah, it could be because you're out there as a boots on the ground field investigator trampling around. They may have gotten your scent and decided to visit you at your home and see what's up with it.
Yeah, see, that's one of the theories I've had for years, that they'll pick that. A lot of people think, yes, a lot of it is luck, and you do see these things, but when you got an issue going on like you do or I do or whatever, and these other individuals out there that have them around their house, I think they're catching your scent and they they want to keep, you know, messing with you or whatever reason they do it for. But
Right.
that's just my opinion. Just my opinion, you know. But
Yeah.
some
I
people
know
may
they-
disagree. But
What's
I
that,
know
Jen?
I know that Adam briefly told you about the whole window incident where it was playing
Yeah.
steering contest with me at the window,
Right.
tapping at my window,
Hmm.
and then it would go to my daughter's room, or our daughter's room,
Yeah.
and like scare her. She came flying out of the bedroom.
no,
Like
How
she
high
was.
up the window is this, guys?
I'm sorry.
How high up is that window? The bottom of the frame.
Well, I know Adam's 6'2" and he can't see over the window still, so I'm assuming it's what 7 or 8 feet tall.
Well, it's at least the bottom of that window comes right to the top of my head. Me standing flat-footed on the ground.
Uh-huh.
If I kind of go tippy toe, I can barely see over the bottom of the sill. You know.
Yeah.
So I was.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
All right, 6'2", and you can't see it without going on tippy toe. And this thing had its whole face in the window or up higher?
It was up above the center of the window, like where you would pull the window up. It was in that center line, a little bit above it.
So we're probably
Well,
talking about a 7-footer plus.
7 foot plus.
Yeah.
7.5. Yeah.
Just tap, tap, tap on a window saying like, hey,
Hey, I'm
Over
here.
here.
Let's
I'm
play.
here. Yeah. Your
My
poor
eyes
daughter.
are
Did it
here.
bother her?
right?
Well, you remember what we were saying about how we think that they press press themselves up against a wall.
Uh-huh.
That's what she heard. She said she heard the wall creak
Yes.
and that she, could hear something growling through the wall.
Yeah.
And just got this extreme sense of unease and fear and decided to come out into the living room.
Yeah. I don't blame her at all.
I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to hear that crackling on a wall when you have a 5, 6, possibly 700-pound creature
Yeah.
leaning
Right.
in on it. It's gonna, it's gonna make some sort of sound. Now, how many dogs do you guys have?
We have 2.
You have 2. And Adam, as you know, I mean, I know from my research that basically Sasquatch and Dogman do not like human canines, human-held canines.
Right.
People that have pets. That's what I'm trying to get across. And they were probably listening for them as much as they were listening for you guys.
Yeah,
Wow.
because there's a lot of the time when a pack is in the area,
Mhm.
or a splinter of the pack, I should say. It seems like there's ones that when they're in the area that dogs come up missing a lot around.
Mm.
It's like they're predating on the dogs, whether it's to kill them off just to get them out of the way as a warning system for us
Right.
humans, or just as something that's easy for them to get at to eat. I mean, there was the case up there close to Akron that where that gentleman who was a German Shepherd breeder, he
Right.
lost, I think he said 9 of his prize winning male German Shepherds.
Right. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I saw pictures of how they were killed, and they were, well, you know how big a German Shepherd's rib cage is.
Right.
Sure.
Somebody was trying to say, oh, well, that's just a big cat that's done that. Well,
Yeah.
considering, that over an area of about 16 inches, from like the where the shoulder begins to the middle of the back, which is about
Mhm.
the average size of a rib cage of a German Shepherd, the claw marks were like they were wrapped around and covered most of the rib cage.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
again, it was,
not a mountain lion. I've seen the
Yeah.
pads on a mountain lion.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got a 200-pound mountain lion. The pads are maybe, I mean, if this is my hand, this may be my hand plus a half. So
right.
Right.
definitely not.
Yeah, their
not
claws
16
are only
inches.
about 2 inches long.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and they're not long fingers where they could wrap around.
Exactly.
And plus, the poor, from what I've heard, when I heard the report of that, we were waiting on a vet report to do an autopsy on the dogs.
Yeah.
Never really got to confirm it.
Mm.
But from what I understand, the ribs were broken, backs were broken, necks were broken. You know, there were large bite marks on the necks and head. I've got pictures that were, you know, given to me of the poor things. At least one of them. I'm not sure if they were from different dogs or what, but like I said, there were, you know, they wound up killing about 8 or 9 of his dogs before he wound up moving to North Carolina. I'm like,
Oh my God.
wow, you didn't do yourself any favors.
No.
They're down there too.
Oh, they're there too. Now I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about that back then, and I had never gotten a chance. Were they gutted out for their internal organs?
I didn't see anything like that. That's what makes me think that they were just killed out of a sense of, you know, malice and showing that they could do it.
Sure.
You know, it's not like that one dog that I got a picture of where it was gutted out and the most of the flesh, you know, was stripped off. That, I mean,
Right.
you've seen that picture that I showed you, right?
Right.
Yeah, where the poor thing was left, the rest of it was left to dry in the sun. Again, nothing else touched the thing, you know, touched the carcass, because you would expect for raccoons and possums and stuff to eat that.
Yeah. Sure.
But
Buzzards, everything, nothing.
exactly, but nothing touched it. The hide was there, all the rest of the meat was there, but the guts were gone, and you know, the ribs and the backbone that was exposed, where, you know, where it was, you know, initially stripped, you know, didn't have any meat on it, like it was,
Right.
you know, you more or less scraped clean immediately.
You know, that's the consistency. You guys ever notice, you know, taking reports, like when it comes to dead animals and dead livestock and stuff, that the you know, other animals don't touch it afterwards. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
At least I've noticed the pattern, you know, in reports I've taken over the years, that nothing wants anything the normal, like you said, Nick. At least a couple of buzzards.
Right.
It doesn't even seem like they want anything to do with it after a squatch or a dogman get hold of it.
Somehow, when the Sasquatch or the Dogman scent gets on it, I mean, this is some research that I've done, and I mean, I've got a couple 100 different pieces of research on this. Somehow, when they are suspected, that's how I should be putting it. When they're suspected of being killed by a Dogman or Sasquatch, nothing else goes near it.
Yeah.
It just stays there. And like Adam said, it dissipates because the sun is rotting it and drying it up. And then just a regular bacteria takes it away, you know, over time. But
right, but
it's
not near, it doesn't get picked clean like it normally would.
Right. Exactly.
Now, when I told Jay about a case I had in upstate New York, not as far as he is, but upstate New York, just over the Jersey border, where a very exclusive community, they had walls around their homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5-acre zoning. You have to own 5 acres to even put a house up. I mean, these people have a lot of money. This one couple, brick wall around most of the home. It's encased. They had a Belgian Malinois. And the reason I was called up there, because their Belgian Malinois was found 3 blocks over, gutted, straight down the center of the belly. Everything was taken out. And what the heck could get over that? Now, a mountain lion can jump 14 feet, but not with a 80 some odd pound Belgian Malinois in its mouth.
Right.
No way.
Some of the marks on top of this brick wall, they were wide claw marks. I'm thinking Dogman in this part.
Yeah.
You know, in this case. But the animal was found by a neighbor 3 blocks away, and it was gutted. Absolutely gutted. No hindquarter meat or anything. Everything inside, the internal organs were taken out. Wow. And they weren't around. They were gone.
That's just like that possum that I found here behind my mom's house. That was fresh and had just been split open like an egg. Like, you know, it's the best way I could describe it, you know.
Like an oyster, it sucked everything out of the middle, or what?
Yeah, basically it's like, well, like I said, it was like something had taken a claw or something that wasn't sharp. It was sharp enough to do the job, but it wasn't sharp edged. And had gone underneath its, you know, its rib cage and opened it up, and, you know, and all, like I said, all the internal organs were gone. and there was like one bite on the hind quarter that was taken out of the meaty part of the leg up on its haunch.
Wow.
Wow.
I wish that I would have had the ability to have a decent camera at some point, at that point in time, but that was back in 2000 when it wasn't really easy to get a hold of digital cameras and stuff all the time,
Yeah.
Let alone as far as like on our phones like we have these days.
Yeah. They were just coming into their own, the handheld digital cameras. And
Exactly.
oof. Jen, you have any other sightings over the last couple of months?
Not per se the last couple months, but I was coming back. What was it, last year? I think it was either last year or the year before. We were kind of having a rough time because our daughter was in and out of the hospital, and I was coming back from my food pantry, and this I could have swore it was a Dogman, but my friend kept saying no, 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 and I said it's big enough to be a Dogman. It was on all fours, walking beside the vehicle. Like literally walking along with the vehicle.
Huh.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, that was a Dogman. And she's like, no, that's not. And I said, yeah.
How high would you say its back was compared to
it was up to the edge of the window, at the bottom of the window.
That's nothing small.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, I don't know of any regular breed dogs where its shoulder comes up that high.
Not even a Mastiff. Really?
Yeah, Mastiff wouldn't come up that high. Maybe
no way.
Maybe the head, but not the shoulders.
Shoulder.
Yeah.
And to this day,
what is it with Ohio that you have all these crazy cryptids out there? I mean, you've got so many reports. Almost 1/3 of the reports I get in come out of Ohio.
Dogman, Sasquatch, the London frog, the Mothman.
Mothman. I get a lot on that. Yeah, I mean, that's just to name a few. I mean, they've got other names for other ones out there, but I suspect they are a form of Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of how we were talking about the whole waterway thing.
Yeah.
When I was just kind of revisiting the Defiance case in my mind, and the Allegheny, or not the Allegheny, the Maumee River and one of its tributaries comes through there.
Okay.
And those two rivers guess where their headwaters start? Yeah.
Really?
So I'd have to look and see where the rail yards go through there in Defiance to get a better idea of exactly where that would have potentially happened and see how close the river is to it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just kind of got to thinking about it. It's like, well, it's like, let's see if there's a major river or even a large creek that goes through there. And sure enough, the Maumee River is right there.
So
now, just for our audience, the reason we bring up water, I mean, Adam knows this, so does Jay, is because all living beings need water to survive. And you're going to find your cryptids at least within, a mile or two of a good water source.
Yeah.
And I mean, the next thing is food, but the primary thing is shelter. So talking about shelter, any caves in that area or mines or abandoned buildings?
I'm not sure about Defiance, and again, I'd have to look and see what caves were up there, because I did a search of different caves, just from the central location of was it from where I'm at, or was it from Piqua? I can't remember, but just within 150-mile radius of where I'm at, there's dozens of different publicly known caves. So I figure for every publicly known cave, where you have tourism and shit like that, that there's a good percentage of maybe 2 to 3 times as many caves that we don't know about that are on private property, that just are either undiscovered or nobody's really messing with it. Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was getting a checkup with our cabbage rolls.
It's okay.
I do know there is a cave out in Preble County. I don't know how far down it is or anything, but I know that's a cave, but I don't know if they go down in there
Can I interrupt
never
you for a
been there.
second, Jen? Where is that in relation to where you guys live?
About 7 miles from my house.
I don't even think it's that far.
5 to 7 miles, roughly.
Yeah,
Good, that's close.
yeah. Granted,
That's
it's also a
these
haunted
things.
attraction.
And then you wonder why your house is an attraction.
Well, the in between us and it is Twin Creek, and Twin Creek runs right down through the research area. So I kind of consider wherever Twin Creek is part of the research area at this point, considering the amount of encounters that we have all around that area.
Yeah.
Now tell them about that one DoorDash that you were doing, and and that was right down by Twin Creek, because I mapped it out later.
I was out and I felt eyeballs all the way around me. I went down this long, dark driveway. They didn't have a porch light on, mind you. And it was late at night. It was probably what, 9:30 or 10, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And I was going down this driveway and I felt eyeballs all the way around me. And this was just a couple weeks ago. I forgot about that one. I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, Jen, because I know in the International Dogman Project State of Ohio website, you had written something about that in there. I wanted you to tell the folks about that.
no, sorry, dogs are back here behind us.
It's okay. Let them bark. Go ahead, Jen. So
Okay,
what happened?
what was you saying?
I was saying on your IDP Ohio website, you wrote something about that. I wanted you to expand on that for the audience.
I do DoorDash, and it varies on time when I do it. It could be day, it could be night. But this night it was dark and it was cold. I remember it being really cold. And I went down this driveway and I'm thinking, okay, there's something going on because I felt eyeballs all the way around me. This driveway was probably a good mile long. And it was out in Preble County because they send me wherever. And I just wanted to get out of there because I didn't know what was around. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I just want to go.
Didn't a bunch of deer go running?
I had like 20 deer go in front of me. It was a wooded area. And there were 20 deer that came out in front of me. And I'm like, okay, you guys can go ahead. But
you said they were running like hell.
Yeah, they were running. They were running for something.
Yeah.
And I said, just go. I want to get out of here, you know.
Like I said, literally across the road from where that driveway starts, because I looked up the address later.
Right.
Is Twin Creek. So
right there.
Right there, you got it.
Yep.
Oh, these folks, they live off the beaten path, and they're calling for DoorDash, and they don't even leave a light on for you or anything. And
yeah, it's pretty messed up.
It's pretty common.
Well, don't keep us in suspense, Jen. I want to know. Did you make the delivery?
Yes, I did make the delivery, but I hightailed it out of there.
I don't blame you,
Did they
Jen.
finally put their lights on? Was there anything in the house? I mean,
there was somebody in the house, but they didn't have a porch light or like one of the street lights that are out like in your driveway.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
They didn't have any of that.
So basically, you had to light up the front of the porch so you could walk over there, right? Or
Yeah, I had to actually have my phone with the camera, you know, with my camera going so I could see, because I have to take pictures when I have to drop an order like that. I have to.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm panicked. I wanted to get out of there as quickly as I could. And then I called Adam as soon as I was done with that DoorDash, and I'm like, never again do I want to go down this road. And he's like, well, what was it? And I told him the address, and he started researching it. It is right dead in the middle of our research area.
wow. You know, I might recommend, Jen, you get yourself a nice size flashlight for the future and carry that in your car when you do your DoorDash stuff. It might help.
Yeah, we're also going to get me a camera in my car.
Again.
Yeah, my other one.
Her other one croaked on her.
No, but I mean, seriously, a good high-powered flashlight, you can hit it on the street names and, you know, where you are and all that, because that's, you know, really, that's a dangerous thing to do, being a DoorDash, Grubhub delivery person or anything like that.
Oh, sure.
You don't know where you're going and what you're going to come up against. And I don't mean just humans either.
Whatever else.
It's
the hell out there.
I mean, But I told Adam, I said, I know when they're around. I feel their presence.
Yep.
Before I even know they're there, I feel their presence. And
You
they
know,
were.
Adam, a lot of people out there on the different shows I go on, and they'll express that they believe that Dogman is of a higher intelligence. Well, I do believe that too. I don't think they're on par with humans, but you know, Jen, if Dogman can grab a hold of a cell phone and call for DoorDash, you know, and they'd call you up, you'd be their main entree, and then they would just, the dessert. And no, you got to watch it out there. You live in a dangerous area, guys.
That's definitely a dangerous situation.
I'm making a joke of it, but it's true. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I did change positions. Well, I changed my times now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going out about 6 in the morning until it depends on how long and how busy I am.
Yeah, she's trying to do more morning stuff so she's not stuck out at night like that as much.
Do people actually order morning stuff?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wow.
It's like today I went out at 5:30 this morning, and I didn't get done until after 11. Woo. I was still on the clock, and there's this thing called a promo or peak time. Well, when they have those, I try to snatch them so that I make the extra. Like today, right. I had all day making $5 extra a trip.
You know, I know this has nothing to do with cryptozoology and Dogman, but I've been always curious, and I think other people are too. When you do that DoorDash delivery, how do they keep that food, you know, warm and not become mushy or cold or yucky or anything?
We have what they call DoorDash heated bags or cold bags, whichever we use it for. I have 4 pizza bags and 1 for regular other stuff. And then when I get it as cold out, I have heated seats. So I put my heated seats on the food.
Right. Wow.
She has her own rolling pizza oven.
Yeah, you got one of them Pizza Hut vehicles. They got the heaters in the ovens in there.
Right.
No, because I asked that question. I know it, like I said, has nothing to do with the show, but like when I go out to Habit Burger, it's a really good place. By the time I get home, the burgers are lukewarm, the French fries are cold. And I mean, I've got the bags all done up real well and everything, but it don't matter. We gotta heat everything back up.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, so you can get those insulated bags, you know, through like Amazon and stuff too. That's got the reflective inner lining that'll help keep it warm for a long time.
Well, I might have to try that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Dogman now.
You know what? I should tell
What?
I'm gonna put it on my car. If you're a Dogman, I'm not allowed to serve you.
They're probably listening.
Yeah, right?
They're waiting for you. So, the areas that you're out there, though, Adam, when you're boots on the ground, do you go out by yourself? Do you go out with anybody else, or?
Once in a great while. I used to do it a lot. I used to go out by myself, but it was only during daylight hours, and I would drive through the area first to listen and also check for scent.
Right.
Before I would step foot out of a vehicle. There's times I went out there and I'm like, not today. Yeah. It's like, not happening today. It's like, I just take notes as I'm going through, you know, of what I'm noticing with no nature noises, picking up scent at X points, you know, so on and so forth. But my butt does not get out of the vehicle. If I happen to see a print, I might take it from over the side of the door or whatever. But you know,
no use taking a chance. No use taking a chance.
Right. No. Most of the time, it's me and her, and a lot of the time, our daughter goes with us, and you know, we're working on getting it to where I have a couple of my other buddies that'll come out with me too, and anymore, especially after the August a couple years back where let's put it this way, they realized we were tracking them, and they decided to set up a little ambush. That was the night that we found that beaver over on the road about I would say it was probably almost a mile from where we had from where they actually pulled the ambush at us. Because like you remember where I told you that I heard that noise, and then all of a sudden, from the side of the freaking vehicle. I never thought that little red van could move that fast, but I guess when you put your foot in it. but yeah, that night was pretty freaky because I'd never had one charge the side of the van like that.
Really?
Yeah. And like I said, it was like the underbrush just came alive, and I wasn't waiting around to see what I could see, because I was about 4 feet from the underbrush.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have waited another half a second, I would probably have seen it with its head in my lap. Because that window was open, and that's where it was coming.
Nice puppy. Okay.
Yeah, nice doggy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing.
Who's a good boy? Yeah.
That's all they want is belly rubs.
Mm.
Right.
I get people that say that on the main site, IDP site. I get people saying, well, they're kind and they're gentle. They don't mean anybody harm. They're not hostile. Well, maybe you could say that about some variants or types of Sasquatch.
Yes.
Who have actually helped humans, but there are.
Then you have the Ohio grassman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He just wants to do your lawn,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Mexican version of the grassman. I'm sorry, that was very bad of me. Seriously.
It's a family show now. Let's not go there.
Yeah, people think all these Sasquatch are all what's the word I want to use? They're like a bunch of the ones we got here. They don't mean to get off topic, but it goes to what you were saying, and you were saying that, there are some that don't bother you, but there are others that will rip your head off, and people.
That's what I'm saying. Some of them are ambivalent to humans. But I don't know of any dogmen, unless somebody is fantasizing, where they are helpful to humans. It's like they're either ambivalent
on that. No,
they're either ambivalent, want to screw with you, or want to eat you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dogmen, there's nothing good about them out there that I've ever read. I've ever taken a report on. And we're talking about in the thousands. And Adam, you must surpass me in the reports that you've read or taken, because you've been in it for quite a while now too. And I've never heard of that. Sasquatch, yes.
Yes.
And of course, there's Gugway that'll rip your head off, and the other types out there. But for the most part, they try to go their own way.
Yeah.
Or they try to mess with you, like with Jay.
Yeah.
Hitting him with mind speak and the like, and
especially the little juveniles, man, they like to mess with you. That's for sure.
That's what I think it was, Jay. I think that was the juveniles, and they were slamming you with that.
They get on the roof and everything, bounce up and down on the roof. They'll think there's a tree right next to the house. They'll climb up that tree and they hop on the roof and they'll jump up and down and they'll throw.
That's one of the things about these things is they don't have to climb. They can climb, but they don't have to climb. They can jump flat-footed.
They can jump.
I'm pretty certain that they could probably clear 2 stories to be able to get up on top of something.
Well, look at
I'm pretty sure I've come across trees where I've seen where they've jumped up, and grabbed onto the tree and climbed the tree. In the past and everything too, because I could see claw marks, and there were no bear around.
Exactly.
And,
it's funny, Adam, because I found that on our last trip down to North Carolina, I found claw marks at the base of the tree, and they were wide. They were wide. A bear claw is going to be close.
Exactly. It's going to be like this. It's going to grab in like this with its claws, and it's going to hug more or less around it, depending on how far it can reach.
Right.
And it's going to, go do. You've seen bears climb trees.
Right.
This thing, these things have the grip to be able to get more surface area to be able to grab a hold of. you know.
Well, what I was saying is the last time we were in North Carolina, which was just this month, we found one at the base of the tree, maybe 5 feet up. And one of our guys who can really climb like a monkey, we sent him up because we thought we put the binoculars on the tree and we thought we saw more claw marks. He went up this tree. He must have been about a good 25 feet off the ground, and there was more marks at the top. There was nothing in between. So whatever the heck this thing did, it must have bounded up, snatched on, and then went from there.
Right.
That's
why I tell people if they're in the woods, always look up too.
Always.
Yep. I espouse that all the time.
Always.
And something I try to give people is a little bit of research and field research acumen, is to use binoculars before you go into an area. I know the area, and then maybe every 50 feet, put the binos up again and also look up and see what you can see, because at least the binoculars are giving you making you a little bit more on par with the animals out there, because their sight is phenomenal.
Right. And that's one thing to think of too, since we have them available these days, is getting those electronic binoculars that can record too.
Yeah.
Where you can snap pictures or you can get live video. I'm trying to find a set that I remember seeing online that actually can record sound too. My current set doesn't record sound. So
I also tell them that this is what we wear on our helmets is Walker razors.
Right.
This will put you on par with some of the animals out there too, because this magnifies your hearing. And they're not that super expensive.
Yeah,
they're like under $40.
Yeah, it's Ear Pro that's got that has the auto cutoff in it that also enhances hearing. Yeah, you can even get that in the earplug style. At Walmart for that matter. But
yeah, why not? You could at least hear something coming at you.
Exactly.
It's not as good as their hearing, but at least it's good, something good.
Right.
Does it have a thermal feature too, Adam? The one you were just talking about?
It's not thermal, but it does do infrared.
It does do IR? Okay.
And it has its own built-in infrared light source.
Okay.
Hey, Jay, you're going to have to take it for a minute. I got to...
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Not a problem. They're binoculars, you said. So you can get them in IR at least.
Well, yeah, like I said, it does color video recording, and it also does night video recording in infrared, because it picks up infrared wavelengths. It doesn't do thermal though, so you'll have like the black and white image like a nighttime security camera. And it's got a nice screen in there in the little viewport. It looks like something out of Star Wars. That you'd see used, but they're nice. Some of the nicer ones actually are rechargeable and do the sound and everything. I think, but like I said, I'm trying to find the ones that I was looking at the other day, so I can actually feature them on the Ohio site as an equipment recommendation.
How much do these things run?
Average cost about $160, about the same as a good pair of binoculars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's not bad at all.
Right.
Especially for all the features it offers. So you can't.
Right.
You people listening out there that are just getting into this field, that is not bad at all for what Adam is talking about. And I highly recommend that. Yeah, Jen.
Can I go back a little bit?
Yeah.
Like before I met Adam.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people that had animals around us, like dogs, cats. Mm-hmm. We had wild goats across the street. They would just run. We also have a pig farm, but we had cats that were outside, and we had one that went clear up a tree. And now that I think about it, maybe it was chased up the tree by a dog man, because they've been out there. Obviously, they've been out there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we have the pigs, like, 5 or 6 houses down. We have a hog farm right down the street from us.
Yeah.
Now, do you know are they your pigs?
No, it's a large pig farm down the road.
Okay.
About I'd say maybe not quite half a mile down the road from us.
Now, do you know if have they ever had any issues with their pigs getting ripped apart or anything like that?
I haven't been able to really sit down and talk with them.
Yeah.
But if, like I said, we've seen the other animals, come up missing around the area.
Sure.
And everything, and it's that shouldn't have happened,
Right.
I do know, like, if you walk on their property and they tell you can come on the property and you can go back to the farm, to the pigs, them pigs just go nuts because they don't like anybody near. They get freaked out. So I'm wondering if the Dogman have actually freaked them out enough that they don't want any human around either.
Oh, definitely a possibility. I mean, that's a buffet for a Dogman or another cryptid like a Sasquatch. That's a buffet right there, ain't Nick? A pig farm.
Oh God, are you kidding me? Who doesn't like bacon?
Right. Jen was just saying. Jen, how far would you say it was down the road? The pig farm?
Not even a half a mile, like 5 or 6 houses down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was asking her if they knew of anything that's ever been, dismembered or anything like that.
Right.
There hasn't been, but like he said, like he was saying before, other animals in the area.
Adam, I've been meaning to ask you if you have any information on the Germantown Dogman or the Beast of Germantown.
Well, I guess you could say that's what about 90% of my stuff revolves around,
Right.
because of that's the general Germantown area where I initially started my research.
Mm-hmm.
All the way from Liberty, Ohio, down through Germantown, Farmersville, down below Germantown towards Post-Town and the Middletown area, Trenton, all that area.
Well, what made the Germantown, the Beast of Germantown, or whatever they call it, what made it famous? What was the first big thing with it?
Because of that girl.
Well, I mean, no, it wasn't necessarily because the girl that I found the remains of. It was, there's been other sightings and everything there over the years. From what I understand, one of the local judges actually saw one down there. There's also there was also what they called the Butter Street Monster back in the 80s. And my one ex-girlfriend that I've talked about in the past, when she was about 10 or 12 is when that happened. And she was at her friend's place down there on Butter Street, and they were on the second floor of her friend's place, and they're in her friend's room, and they were talking. Everybody was talking about what was going on with the cops going through the town, saying that the wolves that were from the preserve had gotten out and loose, and they were putting everybody on lockdown in there to be safe. Everybody around knows that those wolves were at a freaking petting zoo. Okay, there was nothing to fear from those wolves. They were, they were literally tamed out to where they were normal. They were used to humans. You come right up to them, pet them under the chin. It's like, but they said that this was the reason they were giving, from the local law enforcement from the Germantown area over loudspeakers as they were driving through. It was like a scene out of an 80s horror movie, Yeah. From what I understand. But they wound up, they were sitting there talking, and she said that she looked over her friend's shoulder. And mind you, second floor, like I said, it was like a split level. So the bottom of the window was about 10 feet off the ground or better. And she said that they saw red eyes looking in that window.
Wow.
At the window.
Yeah, see, I've never seen the red eyes. I've always seen yellow, like the golf or like the tennis ball color.
Right. Well, I mean, depending on how the light hits them, if you're seeing yellow, I'm thinking that's actually their cornea. But if you're seeing the red, that might be the reflection off the inside of their eyes. and it's not the more bluish or greenish color like you see most dogs and stuff have. It might be different with them or something. I don't know why it would be that color particularly, but a lot of the time you'll see red eye shine from these things.
Right.
But like I said, they freaked out.
That's massive.
Well, I don't know. What did it jump up and hold on to something? Because all reports of Dogman I've had are under 8 feet, and that's getting into the thousands now.
That's what I'm thinking, that it was standing on top of something.
Yeah.
Standing. Yeah.
It could have been the second part of the roof or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking it was, but still, to get on the second part of the roof that easily, that's got some skills to be able to jump that high.
Absolutely.
Anything that can run 50 miles an hour and is that muscular, I don't doubt it. I actually saw one within 30 feet of me, and this thing was muscular, and it was huge. I mean, even at 7 foot 6 inches tall, first of all, it's part the way up there. All it's got to do is a little bound, and that's it. It's up on that. It's up on that 10 or 11 foot windowsill, holding on. It's a pity they didn't check the outside for claw marks to see if it was just hanging there. It probably picked up with its ears people on the second floor.
Yeah, because they said they had that window open about that far.
Ah, okay. Scent, sound, okay.
Yep. There you go.
I'm just curious. I'm wondering what was going through the mind of the of this cryptid at that time. Why was it so curious? What was it going to do?
Right.
Exactly.
Thankfully, from what I understand, it was a fairly small window, like maybe about a foot high by about 2 feet wide, and so it wouldn't been able to really get through it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely very, very curious, as I understand. Because if I remember what Tammy said, I think she said that what got her attention, aside from like a weird smell, was she kind of heard a snort or something like that come from the direction of the window. And she looked over, and they said that they could see these red eyes kind of glowering at them like that. It's like, oh God.
I don't like them, and I try to tell people we're not going to stay out past a certain time out at our house, because they come right up to our fence line. And we had a guy, what was it, 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, when Nick and Danielle were up. This guy,
about 3 years ago, roughly. This
guy climbs up on something, a chair, and was looking over our fence line, and there was one right behind our fence line.
Oh my God.
He kept playing around. I said, "You're going to get hurt. Get away from there." We had a bonfire going, and he was just all about being up and finding out what they were. I'm like, you're nuts. I don't want to see them, let alone let somebody else see them and be petrified.
Yeah, it was. I could hear it moving through the brush behind the fence. He got very lucky.
Wow.
And no gun is going to take them out unless it's a high-powered gun.
No, that's what I've been telling people. I said, when we go out there, it's 308, nothing like a 223, 5.56 military round. When we go out there, it's a 308. It's a large caliber bullet, 200 grains. My belief is that if it could take down a 8-foot grizzly bear, it'll be able to take down or at least damage a Dogman. Because remember, you're going through tough hide, you're going through whatever fat it has, whatever, and large amount of muscle. And Adam, as well as I do, the bone must be 3 inches around. I mean, these things are huge.
Yeah, it's like steel too,
Yeah, and just saying that, guys, how thick all the muscle is in the bone, you got to figure, why wouldn't it be able to leap that high? It must have the strength to be able to do something like that.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I've had reports that I took where the person tells me that they had the deer that they shot, and it looked to be a 120-pound deer. When they went to go recover the deer, it was gone, and they heard tracks footfalls in the woods. This thing must have grabbed it, threw it over its shoulder, and it was just taking off with it.
Well, that's like the report I remember this one from when I was on Monster Quest. Where they were talking about where they had the DNR guy was picking up a deer that was struck. It was about he said it was about a 200 and some pound buck. They put it up into the back of the truck, and then all of a sudden, he's sitting in the cab of his truck and he feels the truck jostle, and he looks back and he sees this big dog head in his rear view mirror, grabbing the deer and taking off with it. It's like, just tucks it under its arm and takes off. It's like, what, just strength to be able to just pick up at something that weighs that much, like like
it's a toy,
like it's a toy,
And Jay, I can confirm this because I've read that report on several different forms of media, and this guy picked it up. He put it on a winch, winched it up to the back of the truck, undid it, got back in, and the truck's bouncing, and this thing just snatched it and said, "No, that's mine," and took off.
And people out there, you guys may not think a 125-pound dead deer is heavy, but I tell you what, when I harvest a 125-pound deer, I've got to go grab someone to help me drag it out.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just not something a man is capable. There's guys out there that can do it, yes, but let's face the facts. A man with a dog mask on didn't jump in the back of this truck and throw that deer over the shoulder and take off with it. Come on. It's just
exactly. Speaking of deer, did I go into what I thought is may have been some sort of a primitive territorial marker that they did with deer head?
No, definitely go ahead.
Yeah, this was out there along the main area that we're out there at. And have you ever seen those steel posts that they use for fencing? They call it a T-post, because if you look at it from the end, it looks like it's the cross section is like a T, and it has those little studs on the one side to help hold the wire, keep it from going up and down.
Yeah.
They're used a lot for farms and stuff like that and other barriers.
No, I know what you're talking about, right? And then they just pop them in to keep the fence in there. I know
exactly. Yeah, and then they just wire the fence on and go on down the road. We were going down through there one day. It was it 2018 that we saw this? Yeah, it was 2018. Again, I'm pretty sure I've sent you the pictures of it in the past, where there was this deer's head that had been ripped clear off of its neck and just stuck on top of the T-post with enough force that it split the jaw. It split its lower jaw with because it got jammed on there with that much force. And it stayed there for, it was there the entire winter, and we went back and checked it because we found it in October of that year, and we went back to check to see if it was still there, and the weather had taken it apart some. But again, it was one of those things where nothing had touched it. No birds had pecked at it. Because raccoons could have very easily gotten to it and all this, but there was nothing left of the body anywhere that we could find.
Right.
But it was like it was there as a marker. And I've only seen pictures of one more thing like that could be considered similar, and it was out of Colorado, from what I understand, where somebody had been up in the mountains of Colorado hunting, and they came across a grizzly bear head. There was a fallen, that's what I'm saying. And it was on the root ball of this tree, where one of the tap root, or one of the tap roots was out, far enough for the grizzly bear's head that you could clearly see it had been just torn from its body. It had been shoved onto it. And they said that they didn't want to go in there and stick around any further because the place was reeking
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they said it was worse than any, than any regular decomp. So I'm wondering if they came across a den or what.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That mention of the deer head that you're talking about, up in Northwest Jersey, I was driving down a particular road, and I don't want to say the name of the road because I don't want the people over there to get mad at me for bringing it out. But somebody had struck a deer, and it was in the dead of winter, below zero weather, for weeks on end, and the deer froze with its legs out. Another person must have come along and propped this deer up against a tree, and it looked like it was standing. They put a red and white cap on it. They put a red clown nose on the front.
Oh God, Rudolph.
And a white shirt around the body, and it stayed there by the roadside for the entire winter. It was, I'm sorry, folks. To me, I just thought it was hilarious.
It is
hilarious.
Deer got hit, but I just,
right.
if you could picture it, it was so funny.
Right.
Oh my!
I came across a case a few years back, and a farmer about 15 miles from where I'm at. He's in a really active area of Dogman and Sasquatch activity. But I don't mean to get away from this is your show, Adam. I got to tell a story real quick. He found a deer carcass, full grown buck. All right, that had been mangled, absolutely mangled, broken. All the innards were removed and taken. Nothing, no flesh was eaten off it though. But anyway, this thing was hung 16 feet in a tree. Okay, 3 times in an 8-month period. Same limb, lay it over the same limb each time. Now, the gentleman I was working with at the time, another researcher, I'm not going to mention him online, but he knew a biologist out of Washington State. We called this guy and said, listen, we do have cats up here. Could a cougar have done that? He said, technically, yes, but this particular situation, usually they won't bring them up 16 feet, and he said they're not built like a jaguar or a leopard. A jaguar or a leopard could have done it easy but according to him, this biologist is a mountain lion wouldn't have had the hips or the jaw power to drag a full grown buck 16 feet high up into a tree.
Right.
I mean.
He froze out.
I follow you there. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I mean, that is something that they drag them up into the trees over there to munch on them.
Well, think about the LBL.
Yeah, that little girl.
Sound.
All right. I still don't think that was a mountain lion though at LBL at all. Because of the other things that happened, to the father. I mean, the arm being torn off and everything, and it going into the trailer, where the mother fought it, and they did have claw marks, and the claw marks were quite wide. So I don't know. Several different animals could have done the damage at LBL, but I don't think they work in conjunction with each other at all.
No, it's not like a lion beat pride or something.
Yeah, exactly. And is that your massive guard dog?
This is the killer.
Is that what is that? That XL Chihuahua?
Internet's funky again tonight. Sorry.
Is that an XL Chihuahua, Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, she's so vicious. Look at her. She's trying to bite her throat out.
She's looking for a place to bite, definitely.
Exactly. This is the taste testing phase.
What's the other dog? What kind of other dog do you have?
The other one is a Shar-Pei and Pit mix.
Oh, okay.
All right, a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Not a 50-pound dog.
Definitely big protection for you guys when the dog man decides to use you both as hors d'oeuvres.
Right.
You know, that day is coming, you know. You keep messing out there, it's coming.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not dumb enough to go out there without at least something to give me a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly.
And I've put it to everybody that goes out with me that, I mean, you know, if we're out on foot, I'm the slowest one. I'm going to carry the heaviest, you know, firepower because I'm going to give everybody else a chance.
Sure.
Because I'm not getting out of there if I'm on foot.
Nope, definitely not. That's why people go to me, oh, you go out there with so many people. Yeah, I go out with a full fire team, 7 people, fully kitted out, because I want to make it home. And, you know, in January of this year, we went in North Carolina looking for a Dogman with many sightings. It turned out to be a very super large, abnormally large black bear.
Yeah.
I mean,
was it on cocaine? No,
I mean, it came out of the brush on 2 feet and it growled very aggressively.
Yeah.
And we lit it up with bear spray, 2 canisters of bear spray, and it ran. But who knows? You know, something like that, if you have nothing on you, this thing would have continued forward. It would have continued, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, what could we have done? So, you know, this is my espousal to the people out there to, you know, be careful when you're out there and be ready. Have a plan, have some sort of defense.
Let someone know where you're headed. Let someone know when you get back.
I mean, I know we are a strictly no-kill organization, but to me, that means that we don't go out hunting them in the sense of wanting to kill them. We want to know more about them, but we are not going to go down without a fight.
Exactly.
No, you know what? You have a right to go in the forest and come back home, you know, safely. You have a right to protect yourself. I don't care whether it's from a known animal, a cryptid, or a human.
Or human.
Still have a right to go home.
Those firearms are just as much, you know, useful for protecting yourself against unknown creatures as they are, you know, protecting against, you know, when you hear banjos in the woods. I mean,
no.
It's like, time to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay out there with those guys. No. Well, guys, it's the end of our filming time here, and it's great to have you back for part 3. Jen, thank you for joining us too.
Yes, Jen, thank you.
There's going to be a part 2 and 3 for me.
That was an awesome series of 3 interviews, man. It was fantastic.
Right. And anytime you guys want us back, just let us know.
And Adam, I'm sorry for putting you through some of that again.
Yeah.
I know it could be.
It is what it is.
Situation. You know, and I do thank the 2 of you for running the IDP, you know, chapter of Ohio for us. You guys put a go to International Dogman Project Ohio, join up and read all the stuff that these 2 put out there. I mean, they're managing it for us, and I mean, they're doing a great job. I don't even have to do oversight on you, except maybe to go on once in a while to accept a member. But you guys do it yourself. They do a great job out there, Jay. And Jay runs the New York chapter. You know, and
going pretty well.
We'll be expanding soon to the Australian chapter. I have a couple of people out there.
Awesome.
And I'm going to need your help, guys. You too. So I do thank you for being on board with us all and working together. And
absolutely.
That's the way it should be. We work together. We don't do this. We don't do this for the cash. We do this for the love of cryptozoology and for the research.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate you guys welcoming me in. Accepting me as one of the members.
Our pleasure.
Oh, all the time and anytime. You're one of our greatest members out there too. All right, Jay, do a countdown and a goodbye to everybody. Good night.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you to this lovely couple for joining us. They're just awesome. Awesome. I can't even tell you. This is a great series of interviews, and I got a feeling at some point we're gonna have these 2 back for a nice little discussion at some point. But thanks everyone for you know, watching Nick and I every weekend and every week, and you know, you want to get a hold of us, you can always get us on Messenger if you want to report an encounter, or if, you know, any questions. We're always open to answer questions. I'm sure, Adam, you're the same way.
Absolutely.
The Ohio page, and you know, or you can email me at internationaldogmanjf dot newyork.com or at gmail.com. Sorry about that. Or on the trail jf at gmail.com. Or like I said, just Messenger. But anyway, thank you very much once again, everybody, and we will see you again this coming week with another great guest. Everyone have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.